All right, Jenny Topping, gold medal training. It is 4:32, I believe. Coming out an hour later now because I'm started my lessons a little later. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about framing again, part 2. So and there may be a part 3 and 4 because there's quite a bit to framing. So I'm just going to chit-chat a little bit while Facebook decides to build an audience. So I just wanted to say, if anybody didn't get the opportunity to watch Crystal Bustos' live feed a few days ago, I posted it on my gold medal training Facebook page. It was pretty good. It sort of coincided with the live I did on changing teams and committing for a season, right? So that type of stuff. So Daisy's on. Good. I know you guys have been asking for information on framing, so thanks for coming on. And any questions as we go along. I wanted to go over some of the basics really quick again, and then we'll continue. All right, so let's talk about a few basics. And again, I want to reiterate that our game is constantly evolving and growing and changing. So I think it's really important, no matter who gives you information about catching, that we are taking that information and testing it out and seeing what works for us. I definitely am not going to be the person to say that one way is the only way to get it done. I think that, I think there's different ways to skin the cat, and I just think it's figuring out what works best for you. And typically the stuff that I am going to teach is the stuff that worked well for me. At the highest level, because I was taught similar stuff to the stuff that we see a lot on the internet, which is, the above the ball, outside the ball, inside the ball, thumb under for a low pitch. So I was taught all that stuff growing up as well. And so, again, for me, I took that information as a good basis, and then I went on to play with it and challenge it and figure out, is there other ways to get it done, basically. So I want to reiterate a couple things. Go back to simple basic. Is this L or 90? This is going to be the strongest position we're going to catch the ball in. So as we start to reach out, again, we're going to lose that strength. So especially like when we're talking about a young one, Daisy, she's 10. When we're talking about little ones, we're focused on having the least amount of glove movement as possible, right? So we can all catch a pitch, but if our glove is shaking all over the place and it's dragging our glove out of the zone, we're going to be not as effective in our framing. So a simple drill that I'll do with my kids for framing is I'll have them start again in their L and their 90, and we work on target, relax, and then track and catch, and see if they can catch without any kind of movement, any drop, anything of that sort. What you'll find again is that a lot of your kids, when they go to catch, they're going to be looking at you, not their glove. Big difference in hand strength between tracking with your eyes into the glove and looking out front. It's the same thing with hitting. I find a lot of my kids, when they're hitting, they're tracking to an area, not necessarily to contact a ball, eyes right behind the ball, which makes a big difference as you're catching pitches that are moving a lot. So tracking all the way to the glove is extremely important. Okay, so last week we went over glove side framing. So again, I like keeping my elbow out, and again, you can test your kids on this. I'll back up a little bit, but I'd say text them. So go ahead and put them in this position where their arm's out, and then drive their glove, push on their glove as hard as you can, and see what their strength feels like. And then from there, start with your elbow out and drive your hand into the glove with the shoulder, the elbow being outside, and see which one is stronger. Real simple basic. I know it's taught, again, I'm gonna teach what I prefer, but I know it's taught a lot to reach out towards the ball. Personally, if I don't need to manipulate the ball, meaning the ball is a strike, it's coming in as a strike, I don't need to do anything but catch it, okay? So all I need to do is target, relax, and catch it. There's no reason to push it, there's no reason to go out towards it. The ball travels faster than the glove, so if we're reaching out for everything and then a runner steals, we're losing time bringing that glove all the way back. So if I am used to knowing that the ball is going to travel as deep as possible into my glove for a strike, then that's going to be that much quicker when I have to go throw out a runner. Okay? Simple, simple basics. Hi, HB.
Is it ready yet?
No.
Okay.
So I want to just quickly go over the opposite side. And I want to talk about a couple things. So when we talk about framing, we talk about keeping the ball center. So I like to do framing off of a pitching machine. That's one of my favorite things to do. I have one of the hack attack machines that basically moves. It breaks the pitch. So I'll work on having them track a curveball and frame a curveball. A lot of times what you see catchers that are going to do is they're going to take their glove to the ball, but not necessarily their body. So one of the most important things you can do is, again, they can work target, relax, catch. And as this pitch is breaking, you know, even with this machine, it's not perfect. It's shifting from here to here with its break. Sometimes it breaks a little less, sometimes more. Simple drill is to have them work on centering the ball as it comes in. So target, relax, catch, eyes behind. Target, relax, catch, eyes behind. So that we're constantly learning to keep the ball center. We're much stronger with the ball center to our body than when it sneaks out to either side, okay? So I have some lessons coming in. They're gonna be passing by. Hi. And then let's go over some glove side stuff I think is important. Tony Bustos, how's it going? All right. So one thing really important to remember is that I am left-handed, so you just have to realize that everything that I do, you're going to be flipping it slightly, right? But know that a glove side frame, whether you're lefty or righty, is a glove side frame, okay? So I think you guys can see this plate and ball like I did last week. Let's talk about a couple things. Whether the ball's 1, 2, 3, or 4 outside of the plate. You guys can talk. I'm just show this. We want to talk about how the ball is coming in, okay? So I want to talk about 2 types of framing today. So depending on what the strike zone the umpire calls, if I am shifted over and centered up to 1 ball off the plate, and the umpire is not calling 1 ball a strike, so basically he's really tight, he's saying, you know, corner's the only strike. Then I'm going to have to frame this pitch, correct? So the first basic is I'm going to set up, target, relax, and as the ball comes in, I'm going to angle and push as I receive towards the plate, okay? So again, all it's looking like is I'm pushing towards the plate, right? I'm pushing my glove out, and my shoulders create the angle, boom, okay? So I'm moving this pitch from 1 ball to corner, that's it. 1 pitch at a time, okay? Let's say I'm shifted for 1 ball off the plate and the umpire calls 1 ball a strike, okay? Then I know every time I set up for 1 ball off the plate, all I have to do is target, relax, and catch. Real simple. I don't need to try to frame that pitch because I already know that's a strike. And this is assuming we have good umpires. Come on in. It's okay. I got a lesson coming through and we'll continue. Hi, KK. Hello. Go ahead, bud. All right, so let's talk about, I give my kids multiple tools, but I want to try to be as subtle as possible with my framing to get the umpire to fall asleep. That is my ultimate goal, right? So that he gets comfortable, he trusts me, and then I try to manipulate him. So let's say one ball off the plate is a strike, but 2 balls is not. I'm set up for 1 ball off the plate, and my pitcher misses 2 balls off the plate. This is the only pitch I teach kids to extend on. So from here, we're gonna go target, relax. I'm gonna drive around the outside of the ball and tuck my head, okay? If there are no runners on, when I go to do this, again, a little tucked into the wall, but as I go to do this, you're going to see me drop a knee and drive my head and tuck around. Personally, a lot of umpires have seen this, and this is what we're saying to the umpire is, I'm trying to make this a strike, so I'm trying to make it a strike, so he's going to take a look more at the pitch rather than me cornering the pitch. So I prefer to corner the pitch. So I want to reiterate, if I'm set up to 1 ball off the plate, 1 ball's a strike, 2 balls is not, okay? I'm expecting my pitcher to throw 1 ball off, but she misses, okay? If she throws it right at me, okay, I can just catch it my strong. If she doesn't, she misses just outside of me, this is the ball that I'm going to extend on. If I don't have to extend, I don't want to, right? If I don't have to manipulate the pitch, I won't. Okay, I'm coming back in, I see some questions. We'll chat. When moving your body with the pitch, with that not blocking the umpire's view, you know, to be honest with you, I blocked the umpire's view a lot. They have to be able to adjust to the movement of a catcher. So good umpires, they don't have an issue with a catcher shifting. They just learn the style of the catcher shifting right off the bat, and they get comfortable with it and knowing where they need to set up. But that's a really good question. I also teach my kids how to lean shift. We can go over that. I didn't go over that last week. Again, we haven't talked about rise balls or drop balls, but I wanted to spend today on the pitch that we are going to extend on, or our throwing side framing. Next week we can get into that as well. So lean shift, I'll just go over that really quick. I prefer a lean shift with a pitcher that probably has a little more control, and when there's no runners on. Okay, so this is a lean shift. So from this position, I flash my sign, push on my glove, give my target. As I'm giving my target, I'm widening my legs. I'm not getting any higher. And then as the pitch breaks, I'm going to target, relax, shift onto a leg. Okay, so that's called a lean shift. I love dropping a knee. I used to in Japan because the pitchers had such good control. I'd slide over to a spot. I'd even set a knee down right away, get nice and low, and give this target, relax, and go. Again, this is probably more when the pitcher has better control. A lean shift is good for being really quiet in our movement versus really loud with the feet of our shifting. So, all right, I have about 2 minutes left. If anybody has any questions, otherwise I'm going to go do what I love, teach some lessons. So, thank you, Tony, for the topic. Yes, framing. I know people have been asking a little bit about it. Again, totally different style. I will say that, you know, I teach all my catchers this way. If we're coming to a championship game and a catcher is getting a strike by dragging the ball across the plate, then I'm going to say, go for it, do it, okay? Whatever gets you the strike. But for the most part, you know, I really want my catchers working in a tight position with their glove, having the little amount of glove movement as possible, and learning different ways to manipulate the umpire that's different than we've seen. Okay, so we want to show them new and different tools so that we can manipulate them, correct? All right. Any questions so far? Framing, shifting. If you did not see last Thursday's, you can go back on my Facebook page. I did do part 1 of framing, and this is part 2. I started on glove side. Today I worked on throwing side, and next week I'll get into maybe rise ball, drop ball type stuff. So, all right. Questions? Nothing. All right. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Jenny Top and gold medal training, and hope you guys all have a wonderful Thursday. And do me a favor. This may sound cheesy. Gloves stability. Oh, Tony. One more question. Glove stability on receiving and limited flex is huge. Hand strength, important. Glove stability on receiving and limited flex. You got some fancy words there, sir. You know, yes, glove stability to me basically means having control of the ball, right? The pitch is not dragging us out of the zone. Limited flex, I think you're maybe saying how far out we go to the ball. Again, you know, we're talking tenths of a second to throw a runner out. You know, 1.8, 1.72. You know, 1.68. You know, these are tenths of a second, right? So if I'm reaching out for everything, you're talking 1, 2, you know, at least 2/10 of a second to have to bring the glove back. So anytime we can let the ball travel, we want to. So obviously if a runner's stealing, we're not framing a pitch. If we could get the strike and throw the runner out, that would be amazing. But most important, we want the runner to be thrown out. So hand strength is important, yes, and that grows as we get older. So again, you'll see college catchers right now that are reaching out for balls. I don't prefer it, but they can get away with some of that because their hands are stronger. I do think though that keeping everything in tighter with everything we do, with hitting, with throwing, with framing, we're gonna just have better control of the ball. All right. Thank you guys for coming on. Any questions, go ahead and throw them up and I'll come check back later on them. And that's about it. Jenny Toppin, Gold Medal Training. Thanks, guys. Oh, I was going to say one last thing. This may sound cheesy, but show somebody some love today. Less anger, more love. That's kind of my motto right now, right? Love wins. So give people love today. All right. Take care. Bye.